Hello everyone, and welcome to my short video here to assist you with your inferential statistics paper. Now, in this milestone, you're expected to perform analysis on the data you would have collected if you actually ran your survey. So in milestone 2, you developed a data collection strategy where you wrote about your survey, your variables, and what you're interested in collecting. So we will assume that you actually sent out the survey and collected them, and now once we get them, we're gonna code the results in an Excel file and perform statistical analysis. So in my example here, I'm assuming that I sent out a short survey of 3 questions to 10 different people. Of course, in your case, you want to include at least 50 data points, so at least 50 survey, but this is just an example to show you how it's done. And the questions that you're going to include in your survey are of course related to the variables you identified in milestone 2 that relate to your research question, whether you're looking at branding or features to include in the new vehicle, or some of you are looking at which market to focus on. Is it only the top 20 market, or should the company expand beyond that? So depending really on your research questions and the survey questions you suggested in your milestone 2 paper, you will have different designs here. But at the end of the day, we're going to have a certain number of surveys, and then in this case, for example, I have 3 questions. So the first question is, what's your gender? Say for example here I'm interested in comparing male to female attitude regarding certain features. So I ask them about their gender. So I received 10 surveys back, 5 of them from males and 5 from females. Of course I made this up myself, okay? So in your case you'll make up your own distribution. And then the first question I ask is a second question: on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is a GPS feature? Again, I made up answers. So for example, the first survey picked a 6, second survey picked a 5, and so on. And then the last question I'm asking is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is Bluetooth connectivity? Again, I made up numbers: 9, 8, 10, 10, and so on. So your first step in your analysis is to make up this data file, this Excel file. At this point you have to do 2 things. You have to first calculate some descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics include the mode, the median, the mean, the standard deviation. So these are the basics ones, so you want to include all of this. And also you want to include some charts, so we will look at how to create some basic charts in Excel. And finally you want to perform some hypothesis testing to address your research question, and that's what you're going to use to base your conclusions on. So let's start with the descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics, you can find them one by one. For example, if you want to find the mean, so mean in Excel is average. So average, and then you select your data. So the average answer to question 3 was 7.2. If you want to get the median, again, so median, and then you highlight your data. So the median answer was 7.5, and then finally the mode. The mode is the most important one here because this is ordinal level data, and we're interested in finding what's the answer that was picked up the most often. So that's why mode is very important in this case. It tells me my mode is 8. In reality you can see that 10 is also repeated, but that's fine. Excel only picks the first value for the mode, which in this case is 8. If you want to calculate standard deviation, so equal stdev, and again highlight your data, and this gives you 2.14. So you just have to calculate these values and provide them in your paper, and of course provide comments on them. Now let's say I want to create some charts. So the chart that would be more appropriate here would be maybe a histogram, just showing the frequency, that each answer was selected. So to create a histogram, we can use the data analysis tool pack. So to activate the data analysis tool pack in your Excel, you need to go to File, Options, and then select Add-ins, and then go to Excel Add-ins and press Go, and then check the box next to Analysis Tool Pack. Once you do that, if you go under Data, you will see a tab that says Data Analysis. You click on it, you can see that first it can calculate the descriptive statistics for you. So instead of doing them one by one, you can just say descriptive statistics, press OK. It's going to ask you where's the data. You say this is my data, and then press OK. Okay, so you just have to select summary statistics, and you can see that it's going to calculate all of them for you. So here's the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, the range, which is the difference between high and low. Minimum rating was 4, maximum rating was 10, and there was 10 data points. So that's a faster way to get the descriptive statistics rather than doing them one by one here. Now let's say I would like to use the data analysis tool pack to create a histogram. So select histogram. Again, I'm going to highlight my data, so this is my data, and I'm going to say include a chart in the output. So it's going to create a histogram for me like you see here. Of course you can edit the title, so you can just here type in this is for question 3. You can see that it's telling me that there was only one answer of 4 or less, and then answers between 4 and 6 were 3, and then between 6 and 8 were 3 also, and then more than 8 we had 3 answers. So that's a histogram. Of course, when you have a lot of data here, instead of just 10 that I did here, you will have a better distribution or a more clear distribution for your histogram. So that's one way to create a histogram. You can also create a pie chart using the frequencies if you want to. So that's another way to display this data. Again, histograms and pie charts are most appropriate here just because we're displaying ordinal data that tells you rankings. So you want to find out which answer was selected the most often. Okay, you can also create a box plot if you want to. So you can say data analysis. Oh, sorry, that's in the graph. If you go to insert, we'll go back to our data, highlight the data. So this is my data, and say I would like to create a box whisker. So I go to box whisker, or you can create a histogram if you want to. Box whisker, you can do it also here. So here's a box whisker. Again, you need to customize the title. You can see that it's showing you the min is 4, the max is 10, the median is somewhere about 7.5, which is the middle point here. You can remove the filling here, it's not really important. Oops. So you can play around with the options as much as you want to improve this graph. So this shows you the distribution of the answer for question number 3, and you repeat that for the different questions, and of course you comment on the distribution according to your research study. Finally, you want to add inferential statistics. So say for example here I would like to compare male and female attitude regarding GPS. So you notice that I intentionally selected low answers here for males and higher answers here for females. So I'm gonna go to my data analysis tool pack, and if you have more than 30 sample points you can use z-test, but because I only have 10, so I'm gonna use t-test. So t-test, and then okay, so first group is the male, oh, we want to do GPS, so sorry, so we're gonna replace that with GPS, male. Second group is gonna be the female, and then press OK, and this performs the t-test for us. So as you can see, Excel tells you the average male rating for this question was 5.4, for the female was 8.4. Remember, that's on the sample, so the hypothesis test will tell us whether or not we can conclude based on this small sample that females do indeed value GPS more than males. So it gave us the variance, 2.3 for male, 1.3 for female, and we had 5 data points for male, 5 data points for female. The most important line here is the p-value here, and you want to make sure that this p-value is less than alpha, which is the significance level of the test, which is usually 5%. So anytime this value is less than 0.05, we can conclude that we can reject the null, and in this case the null assumes that there's no difference in rating between male and female, so now we can reject this null and conclude that there is a significant difference in rating between male and female as far as the GPS feature. If you want to do that for the second feature, let's do it again. In this case, let's do it for the Bluetooth. So again, male here, female here, and again you can see that the p-value is very small, which concludes that there is a statistical difference between male and female as far as the Bluetooth feature is concerned. So again, you're gonna run similar tests. You can also do ANOVA testing if you want. It's all in the analysis toolpack. You can't do correlation here because these variables are ordinals. They're not ratio level data, so they're not continuous. So you can't use correlation analysis, but you can use ANOVA, you can use t-test or z-tests. Make sure you write down your null and alternative for every test you run, and then comment on the result. So like I just said, for example, here it's clear that there's a significant difference between male and female as far as GPS or Bluetooth. So depending on the numbers you make up, you will get different results. Okay, so that concludes all the analysis you need to include in your paper. I also sent out 2 example papers that I liked from previous classes, so make sure you go over them, and if you have any questions, you can email me or give me a call, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.